Hi, folks. It's Miguel with,
Joshua.
and we're just going to have a real conversation, a real talk. What do you want to start, Josh? Trust the process.
Trust the process, man. Trust the process. That is something that I think it's very important for us to share that with the viewers.
Absolutely.
I think that there's a lot of things going on. I think in our lives, in the college, as it were, and I think it's also there are also things happening with our students, and I think it would be wonderful to have a conversation that explains what trust the process
Absolutely.
actually means, because we can say it to somebody, we can say trust the process, and then just keep it moving, without really knowing if without knowing if that person understood what it was we were saying. So, yeah.
Trust in the process. And I'll just segue to, even in my capacity of welcoming students on campus and them not necessarily knowing what the next step may be.
What the process
and
is.
then, I hit them with trust the process, whether it be just getting through this 4-hour segment, and it could be career-wise, getting through this,
Right.
several year experience, or
Definitely.
going through a series of experiences that will equip you, right, to be better ready for the next stage. And I think,
Most definitely.
we could, kind of use that as an example in terms of trusting. But things happen for a reason.
True.
And you may not necessarily see what the reason is in the moment.
Right.
And so you just need to trust a little bit, or rely on the expertise, the experience of those who have gone through the process before you,
Right.
and can help you to make certain decisions. I don't know if you have some thoughts
Yeah,
as it relates to that.
Well, yeah, for me, and I wrote some notes. I'm taking a page out of Miguel's book. Write some notes down, get you some flashcards, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't gotten some, get you some. It's a shameless plug for flashcards.
Thank you.
Get you some flashcards, write down your points, and you'll be able to explain yourself a little bit better. So, what does it mean to me? Trust the process. First and foremost, I'm typically talking to the young men. I was gonna say brothers, but I'll say ladies and gentlemen.
Because we have a wider audience.
Right,
know.
definitely. Be strong and of good courage. And I say that because it takes strength to trust the process, especially when there's an unknown in the situation. So you have to be strong, because if not, this process will swallow you up whole and spit you out in a place where you're not even aware of, what that is. And then courage. Courage is something that we don't talk about often, because it's just understood. We kind of figure that folks are courageous, but they go hand in hand. Being strong and courageous really helps when it comes to the process, because you have to hold your head up. You have to speak to those people that you may not want to speak to. You have to be in concert with your team when you feel that you don't want to do it. So it takes strength to say, you know what, I'm going to stand here, stand my ground, so to speak. I'm not saying to be combative. I know, even though it has, that has its place. But in this particular case, trusting the process, being strong, being courageous, just, stand there. Remember why you do this.
Yeah.
The reason why you're doing it, and that should help in that particular phase of it.
Absolutely. So, that what you're sharing about this process, and I'm sort of converting that to you know, the day-to-day responsibilities and having to share, because a lot of, again, young men, young women, students of all ages, you know, come to us for guidance, for advice. Things may not necessarily be going in the direction that you initially intended for it to
Right.
go, or it's just not work. It could be an assignment that you had,
Yeah.
a class that you took, that it just didn't shape out how you initially envisioned it, you know, and that could be all part of lessons learned, you know,
Yes.
like I learned from that experience that maybe I shouldn't have taken that particular approach, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to have the courage
Yeah.
to live beyond that
Moment.
moment,
Right.
right? And I'm just fast forwarding again because, again, at the end of the semester, and I'm putting this in the context of, you know, we're right about midterm.
Yeah.
Midterm is a
Midway through,
very
right?
stressful. I say it lightly, but a very stressful period in terms of you're halfway through the term. Again, you know, may have had a mini term class. I just ended a mini term class, and I know there, you know, as a professor, you know, I could see some of the challenges that are real
Right.
from those who were in that particular course that I taught, and that's going to bring about some reflection as to how do I move forward.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. I think I have a B, and I actually have a C and a D as well. But quickly, continue to better yourself while you're trusting. If we could use the semester for an example, most people say you should know if you've been doing great in your classes or if you've been keeping up, you should know how you're doing. Yes, that is a truth. However, sometimes if it's your first semester, even though you're getting these grades or assignments back and they're showing you how you did, you may be at a place where you're getting so much at one time that you're not really paying attention to everything. So I say that to say, don't just stop because you're trusting the process. Don't stop working. Don't stop turning in assignments. Don't stop bettering yourself as a student, as an employee, whomever. Don't stop while you're in the process. Because when someone tells you trust the process, it's easy to say, all right, I'm going to trust the process and then do nothing else. You get what I'm saying? That can't be the case. You have to continue to better yourself as you're trusting the process, and then you'll see that the end result will be one that you're actually working towards, and that you expect it to have.
So essentially, before you hit the next point, you need to do something.
You got to do something. Yeah.
You can't just, you know, it can't be, well, it happened, and hope that something's going to be different.
Right. Or the professors gave me or I earned. Put it this way: I earned a less than favorable grade on an assignment. I'm just going to take that assignment and keep it pushing. No. Better yourself. Reach out to your professor. Go and say, look, okay, how did I do here? Give me the tools that I need or that I can use that'll be beneficial for me to do better on the next exam. Because you have to remember that you're going to have more than one exam. And I'll use that not just in the classroom, in our day-to-day work life and experiences that we have. We're gonna be tested. I'm one of those folks that hates being tested, but I do understand that it's a necessity.
Yeah.
It's a way for us to gauge whether or not we've learned a particular skill.
And about doing something. So this is like, for me right now, midterm, just, you know, the final quarter of the year. We're in the last stage, like 2018.
Right. It's already
You
done.
know, this is it.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of essentially looking back at, you know, from the beginning of the year. You know, for me, it's like where I look at, like, you know, in the process, what worked and what didn't work. There's a number of things that personally and professionally that could have worked out better.
Right.
And so I'm looking to, take those opportunities that I didn't get that process didn't quite work
Right.
in the way that I thought it could have worked out, and start again. Fresh start, 2019 around the corner. And it's not to say new year, new resolution, cliche, but it gives you another span
Right.
to you redo or
Try it again.
right? Maybe differently or with a little bit more support
Right.
to make sure that it's executed. So at same time, 2019, we reflect again, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can say that the process yielded
some rewards.
better results, right?
Definitely,
At least
definitely.
for those, because I'm one of those persons that don't, there's always victory, right?
Right.
We always have those moments of accomplishment, achievement, victory.
Definitely.
And then we have that little window of things that just we think could have gone better.
Right.
And I think this is an opportune or the ideal moment to sort of reset or begin to reset. And reflection.
Yeah, definitely.
I do those, like you pause and then, because I did some of those this week and I'm like,
How could I have done this better?
Right.
How could I
right.
have shown a better mindset at that particular time for that particular
Absolutely.
issue? So also, I think, and I'm glad that you said that, because within reflection, you want to be grateful for what you are and where you are.
Oh yeah.
First of all, if you've attempted anything, you're already better than the person that never did anything. Okay, so you have to say, okay, you are successful. Okay, you've already started. You've already put yourself in the position to win. So you are successful. And then also, where you are. You're not where you want to be, but thank goodness you're not where you used to be.
Correct.
So you're moving forward. You're preparing yourself for greatness and success. And we've always had this conversation. What does success look like?
Yeah, what does it really look like?
And sometimes people, like they say, Miguel's pretty successful. Let me take his success and make it my own. And a lot of times that's where we get uncomfortable.
Yep.
That's where we start to make the mistake that I'm not successful.
Well, you're
comparing it to the person who you saw. And I'm not saying don't compare. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is view or prepare yourself to achieve your own level of success and know what that looks like. Sit with someone, ask somebody, hey, what is success? Or look up the definition.
Yeah. You just triggered a thought, and we do have to wrap up this segment.
Okay,
but we're going to continue.
Great.
But that triggered part of the leadership program year-long, and one of the resources that was shared with us was a basic planner. It's called a passion planner.
Awesome.
And so inside of the passion planner has some goal setting tools. So where do you see yourself? What's important for you to achieve in the next 3 months?
Right. Okay. Awesome.
What's important for you to achieve in the next year? And what's important for you to achieve in the next 5 years? So going back to am I successful? I think you need to sort of assess where you are currently.
Yes.
At least for me, at least for the next year, professional development
Awesome.
was very, very, very high, right?
Very high.
And what does that mean? What areas do I want to improve, and how realistically can I use the resources around me?
Right.
Definitely. Reasonable, cost-effective, to get those skills developed in the next year, and then the next 5 years, long term, 5 years and more, lifetime. What do you want? Do you want to own a home? Do you want to own 2 homes? Do you want to own a car? Do you want to own 2 cars?
Have rental property? Do you want to?
Exactly.
What do you want to do?
You want to invest.
So
So that triggered that. But as we wrap up this segment, Anything you want to share? Because we're going to roll into another segment and
So, yeah,
continue the conversation.
Success. I just want to drive that point home. Look for what success really means to you, the individual. And once you do that, then you'll be able to navigate a little bit better what could otherwise be a very cloudy trip because you'll be looking at things that really don't pertain to you. So, get all that stuff out the way and focus on what success really means to you.
So we'll end this here. This is, it sparked, this conversation specifically sparked on the topic of trusting
The process.
the process.
Yeah.
And so right now, it's led to success. And we're going to begin that next conversation on, success. We're going to continue that. So
Definitely.
till the next conversation, it's Miguel Murphy. And
Joshua Arjona.
you know how to find us, mmurphy3@mdc.edu.
And J Arjona1 at mdc.edu.
Thank you.